She was the baby Claire never got to hold. The child we all believed was gone forever. But what if Faith Fraser didn't die in that Paris hospital room? What if everything we thought we knew was a lie? Outlander Season 8 might be hiding to Faith. Fraser's story begins in the most heartbreaking chapter of Claire and Jamie's journey, Paris, 1744. At that time, Claire was pregnant, while they were both caught up in the politics of French court life, trying desperately to stop the Jacobite rebellion. But nothing prepared them, or the audience, for the tragedy that would follow. Claire went into early labor, and what followed was one of the most emotional scenes in the show's history. She delivered a stillborn baby girl, a daughter she named Faith. Fans will remember how Claire described holding her, tiny, lifeless, but still her child. She was baptized, she was mourned, and then she was gone. This moment shaped Claire forever. Her grief was raw and unforgettable. It built a wall between her and Jamie. It followed her back through time. Even in the 20th century, you can feel the shadow of Faith hovering over her. And for us as the audience, it became one of the clearest symbols of how cruel time and fate can be. But here's what's strange. Despite how devastating this story was, the details were never fully explained. Claire was unconscious during the birth. She was told later that the child had died. We never saw Faith being taken from Claire. We never saw what happened to her body. Everything we know came from the people around Claire. Madame Raymond, Mother, Hildegard, the hospital staff. Could it be possible that someone lied? There are fans who believe that this moment has always held a hidden truth. That Faith didn't die, but was taken. Either by someone with their own motives, or perhaps even by a force greater than we can understand. After all, this is Outlander, where time travel is real and nothing is ever simple. Let's also remember the title of the episode, Faith. Not loss, not death, just faith. And in this universe, faith has always meant more than belief. It's about survival, destiny, and second chances. Theories have floated around for years that maybe Madame Raymond used some kind of ancient healing or time magic to save the baby. That perhaps Faith was taken in secret to protect her. That someone else raised her in another time. And now, nearly 2 decades later, she's returning. It sounds impossible. But so did traveling, through stones. So did Claire and Jamie finding each other again after 20 years apart. In Outlander, the impossible is just the beginning. And now, with Season 8 on the way, the rumors are louder than ever. Leaked set photos, a mysterious girl in the trailer, hints dropped by the actors. All signs point to something big, something emotional, and possibly someone who was never truly gone. If Faith is alive, it won't just be a twist. It will be the most emotional reunion the Frasers have ever faced. A miracle wrapped in pain, a family torn apart, now facing the impossible choice of whether the truth is worth the cost. The most shocking twist in the series, one that could change the Fraser family forever. As whispers about Outlander Season 8 grow louder, one question has taken over fan discussions everywhere. What if Faith Fraser is still alive? It sounds like fantasy. It sounds too wild to believe. But the signs are building, and they might be pointing to a twist so powerful it could rewrite everything we thought we knew. The rumors began quietly, buried in early fan forums. A few people noticed something strange in leaked behind-the-scenes photos. A young actress, never seen before, was spotted filming with the main cast. She had curly, reddish hair, pale skin, and features that seemed, strangely, familiar. Not just to the fans, but possibly to Claire and Jamie, too. Then came the trailer. While short and cryptic, the Season 8 teaser showed quick flashes of a young woman watching the Frasers from a distance. Her face wasn't fully shown, But her eyes, they stood out. The same eyes fans swear they've seen on Jamie. A deep, intense gaze, curious, searching, almost as if she's looking for something or someone. Some believe this is no coincidence. They think this girl is Faith, not a ghost, not a memory, but a living, breathing woman who survived that hospital in Paris and has now returned. Theories exploded across Reddit, fan pages, and reaction videos. Could she have been taken through time, raised by someone in secret, hidden away for her own safety? It wouldn't be the first time Outlander pulled off a surprise like this. Remember when Claire returned to the 18th century after 20 years apart from Jamie? Remember how Brianna and Roger traveled back in time to save their son? Time travel isn't a side plot in this story. It's the very heart of it. And then there's the mysterious quote from showrunner Matthew B. Roberts. In an interview last month, he said, "This season is about healing and reckoning. Some returns are long awaited, others are completely unexpected." Fans jumped on that word, unexpected. What return could possibly be more shocking or more emotional than Faith? Even Sam Hugan, who plays Jamie, added fuel to the fire. He mentioned that Season 8 will explore the idea of family coming full circle, and hinted that the past isn't as buried as we think. Caitriona Balfe, too, has said this season forced her to go to the deepest emotional places as Claire. When you put all these clues together, mysterious casting, suggestive trailers, cryptic quotes, it paints a picture, one of a family on the brink of discovering the impossible, of Claire and Jamie facing the return of a daughter they thought they lost forever. And if this girl really is Faith, there are so many questions to ask. Who raised her? Where has she been all these years? Does she know who she really is? And more importantly, why is she back now? There's also the matter of time. If Faith was born in 1744, she would be a young adult now, likely in her early 20s. That fits perfectly with the mysterious character shown in the teaser. It also aligns with the show's timeline, which has been slowly catching up to that era. Some fans believe Faith may have grown up in another time altogether. Maybe she was taken through the stones by someone who wanted to protect her from the chaos of war and political danger in 18th century France. Maybe she was raised in the 20th century, or even further into the future. Others think she may have stayed in the 1700s, hidden away by someone who faked her death and kept her location secret. Perhaps it was Mother Hildegard, or Madame Raymond, whose strange talents and mysterious knowledge of time have never been fully explained. Could he have used his gifts to save the baby, or even sent her forward in time? As wild as it sounds, we've already seen characters do similar things. Gillis Duncan time-traveled and manipulated bloodlines. Brianna and Roger took their own child through time. Outlander has never been afraid to stretch the rules of reality, as long as it serves the story. The idea of Faith being alive might seem like fan fiction, but in this world it might be the perfect emotional twist. A symbol of hope, a story of loss turned into love, and a moment that will bring fans to tears if it comes true. The clues are stacking up: the mystery girl, the cryptic interviews, the way the show keeps returning to the pain of Faith's loss, even after all these years. Why bring it up again now, unless there's more to the story? This season, the impossible may become real. And if it does, Claire and Jamie will face their greatest challenge yet. Not war, not betrayal, not even time itself, but the return of the daughter they thought they'd never see again. If Faith Fraser truly survived, the question is clear: how? How could a baby everyone believed to be dead suddenly reappear 2 decades later? And how could it all be explained in a story built around time, secrets, and heartbreak? Let's go back to the moment Faith was born. Claire went into early labor while staying in Paris under the care of Mother Hildegard. When she awoke, she was told the baby had died. She was unconscious during the birth. She never saw what happened immediately after. And that's where this theory begins to take shape. What if Claire never got the full truth? Some fans believe a cover-up happened, that either Mother Hildegard or someone else, like Madame Raymond, stepped in and quietly saved the baby. It might sound extreme, but both characters had strong motives. Hildegard was a woman of deep compassion. Raymond, a man of mystery and ancient knowledge. They might have known that Faith wouldn't be safe with Claire, especially in the political chaos surrounding the Frasers at the time. We've seen Raymond's skills before. He saved Claire from death after the traumatic labor, using strange herbs, prayers, and something that felt almost magical. Fans have long speculated that he has knowledge of time travel, ancient medicine, or even alchemy. If anyone had the power or the reason to save Faith secretly, it would be him. Here's a theory that's gained real traction. Faith was born premature, but alive. Raymond used his knowledge to help her survive, then passed her into the care of someone trustworthy. Perhaps she was taken to a convent, or maybe sent through the stones to the future, far away from the dangers of 18th century Europe. Why keep it a secret? The answer might lie in the stakes Claire and Jamie were facing. At that time, they were enemies of the crown. Claire was a foreigner. Jamie was a wanted man. Enemies lurked at every corner. A newborn child could have been a target. Raymond and Hildegard might have made a desperate choice, hide the baby and fake her death to protect her life and Claire's. And what about time travel? In Outlander, time travel is not science fiction. It's real, emotional, and deeply woven into the story. Claire, Brianna, Roger, even young Jemmy have all traveled through the standing stones. The show has made it clear. Some people are simply born with the ability. They hear the buzzing sound. They feel the pull. It's in their blood. Claire has that power. Brianna inherited it. Could Faith have it too? It's entirely possible that Faith, like her mother and sister, was born with the ability to travel through time. If someone sent her through the stones as a baby, maybe to the 20th century, she could have been raised in another era, never knowing the truth of her past. And if she was raised in the future, she could have discovered the truth as she grew older. Maybe through old records, a letter, a piece of jewelry, or even a journal, like the one Brianna used to trace Claire's history. That discovery could have led her to the stones, to time travel, and finally, to her real family. There's also another possibility, one even more heartbreaking. What if Faith wasn't sent through time, but stayed in the past, close by, without ever knowing who she truly was? Imagine a young woman growing up in France or Scotland, feeling different, but never understanding why. Maybe she was raised in a convent or by a family paid to keep her hidden. Maybe she always felt a strange connection to the Fraser name, to the stories of a healer named Claire, to whispers of war and lost love. And then, one day, she finds something. A letter, a clue, a person, and it leads her straight to the Frasers. This theory explains why Claire and Jamie don't recognize her at first, why there's confusion, tension, suspicion, because they've mourned Faith for 20 years, believed she was gone. And now, standing before them, is someone who looks just like their lost child, but grown. The emotional impact of that moment would be overwhelming. For Claire, it would mean rewriting her own grief. For Jamie, it would be a second chance he never imagined. And for Brianna, it would mean meeting the sister she never knew she had. But it wouldn't all be joy. There would be fear, doubt, anger. Why was she kept away? Who knew the truth? Why now? And that's exactly what makes this twist so powerful. It isn't just a fantasy. It's a perfect reflection of what Outlander does best, combining emotion, mystery, history, and the power of time. The pieces are all there. A birth clouded in secrecy, a mysterious man with powers beyond science, a world where time is a bridge, not a barrier, and a family strong enough to survive even the greatest loss. If Faith Fraser is alive, It changes everything, but it also completes something. A circle that began in Paris, a chapter that's never truly closed, and a family that's been waiting, in their hearts, for this miracle all along. If Faith Fraser is truly alive, the reunion won't just be emotional, it will be complicated, life-changing, and in many ways, heartbreaking, because this isn't just a story about a lost child found again. It's about a family that must face everything they've buried for 20 years. Claire has spent decades living with the grief of losing her first child. That pain shaped her, hardened her, made her stronger, but also haunted her. Every time she held Brianna, every time she saved a life, every time she looked at Jamie, she carried that silent ache. Faith was the child she couldn't save. Now imagine what it means to have that child return. Alive, grown, and with questions Claire may not be able to answer. For Jamie, the challenge will be just as intense. He never even got the chance to hold Faith. He lost her before he could even call himself a father to her. Seeing her alive might feel like a miracle, but also like a wound reopened. He'll be filled with joy, of course, but also guilt. Guilt for not protecting her, for believing the lie, for not knowing she was out there. And then there's Brianna. Her whole life, she's been the only child Claire and Jamie raised together. She's a time traveler, a survivor, and a mother herself. But what happens when she finds out she has a sister she's never known? One who's been hidden in the shadows of history? Will Brianna feel robbed of a sibling? Or threatened by the past? Will she welcome Faith with open arms, or worry that this new chapter might pull her parents away from her? That's the heart of Outlander Season 8. Not just the twist, but the emotional storm that comes with it. Because finding Faith doesn't solve everything. It raises hard questions. Where has she been? Who raised her? Does she even want to be found? What if Faith doesn't trust them? What if she was told lies about her real parents? What if the people who raised her warned her never to go looking for the truth? The Frasers may be facing their most painful decision yet. Should they tell Faith who she really is and risk everything to bring her back into the family? Or should they let her live the life she already knows, even if it means losing her all over again? And in true Outlander fashion, there may be more at stake than just emotions. The world around them is still on fire. War is coming. Alliances are breaking. Danger is circling their family from every side. Is this really the right time for a reunion? Or is Faith's return going to cost them more than they're ready to pay? There's also the question of time itself. If Faith was sent forward, or backward, through the stones, what damage could that have done? Time travel in Outlander always has a price. Nothing is ever free, and changing the past or interfering with fate can lead to consequences far beyond what anyone imagined. Could Faith's reappearance disrupt the timeline? Could it change something in Claire or Jamie's path that alters the future, or the lives of their children and grandchildren? Could loving her put them in danger, or could this be the very thing that saves them? Maybe Faith's return is the key to something more. A warning, a message, a chance to fix what's broken before it's too late. We don't know yet, but one thing is certain. If Outlander brings Faith back, it's not just for shock value. It will be to explore the deepest, most powerful themes the show has always carried: family, loss, love, and the endless tug of time. Season 8 may be the final chapter, but it's far from the end. And if Faith is alive, the Frasers will be tested, like never before. Their past is no longer behind them. It's standing right in front of them, and the question now is, what will they do?